everybody, and welcome to Inside Gaming. Earlier this week, the gaming community got into a little bit of a tizzy over a recent PlayStation announcement, and it seems like PlayStation has committed one of the biggest sins in gaming.
Adultery?
Console exclusive content.
And it seems like PlayStation has partnered up with Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix to provide an exclusive hero in the upcoming game Marvel's Avengers.
Oh, Black Bolt?
George Costanza.
Uncle Ben.
The mayor of Cincinnati.
Grey Hulk.
My mom.
Spider-Man!
Okay.
Of course, yeah, we knew
Gotcha.
Okay, yeah, it's not exactly a huge shocker. Many of us at Inside Gaming, during the press conference that they did, predicted that this would happen, and, you know, it did. Surprise, surprise. It's a great pull to get people to choose one version or over another, but Spider-Man's a hot ticket in the Marvel fandom. Easily one of the most recognizable heroes of all time. So, you know, there's so much to go into about this, but it's also kind of fair to assume that, you know, we're getting Peter Parker out of this. Not really, you know, Miles Morales or Gwen Stacy.
You don't think so? They got Kamala Khan in that opening sequence.
Yeah, but do they really want to take away from the fact that they're going to be doing, you know, Miles Morales the game later this year?
That's true.
I mean,
Well, the way I see it going is I'm sure Miles will be like some kind of DLC or like a character add-on at some point. I feel like that's how they would do it, just to like be like, yo, we got these two characters now, might as well put them in this game.
For the Miles stuff, I could imagine them, like, Insomniac just handing over a package of, like, here's the model kit and all the textures and everything we used for Miles Morales
because
Spider-Man.
that's how game dev works.
Oh, totally.
It's like,
Yeah,
we
just
made this character in
Listen,
this
you put it
engine,
in the
please.
blockchain, you get the bitcoins, and you put it in the game, and everything is fine. Everybody makes millions
Okay,
of dollars.
I still think we're gonna probably get Peter Parker based on the post that they made. It's pretty much Peter Parker iconography the entire time down. So probably not Miles, probably not Gwen or Penny or any of the other many multiverse versions, or Ben Reilly, my personal favorite. At least for now. Maybe they'll do costumes or something like that. But wait, that's not all.
Gasp.
The day after they announced Spidey jumping into the PlayStation version, they also said that they were going to have specific loot drops that will be exclusive as well. But the real important information here is what Andy Wong, community and social media manager at Crystal Dynamics, wrote on that blog post. What do you guys want to tell me what they actually said?
I'm good at this. Ready? When it comes to cosmetics, PlayStation players will have 30-day exclusive access to a legendary outfit, legendary emote, epic takedown, and nameplate for each superhero as they are released. This is also for the 6 launch heroes. In addition, we also have rewards for those with a PlayStation Plus subscription. For each superhero added to the game post-launch, Hawkeye included, all PS Plus members will receive a free bundle that contains a rare outfit, nameplate, and 100 credits to celebrate the addition of another Avenger to the roster. At launch, we'll have a free bundle for Ms. Marvel available for PS Plus members to embiggen our love for Kamala. I do not like the way they ended that.
I've never seen that word in my life.
I guess she is a stretchy character. I see what they're going for.
Embiggen.
My favorite part of this is Hawkeye included.
Hawkeye included.
It's like keep adding that to things.
He's a bargaining chip. Please buy this goddamn game.
Yeah.
Hawkeye included.
It's like the Shin Megami Tensei game where it's just like, includes Dante from Devil May Cry.
Now with new funky mode.
Here's your burger, sir. Hawkeye included. I didn't
order this. It's not what I wanted. Nobody wants Hawkeye. But that's a lot of additional content to be exclusive, even if, you know, it's 30 days exclusive. You know, pair that up with Spidey being locked entirely to a single platform. It started up the debate again. Is console exclusive content worth having? Are there actually any benefits to it? And should we even have it at all? So let's get into it and find out where everybody stands in this topic. Let's start with you, Evan.
Well, you know, as a very informed person, I read some other Twitter users' very informed opinion that the only people losing out on console exclusive content are the people who don't have all the consoles, are the people who are not bought in. And I guess that's one way to look at it. And I think there is something cool. And when I think about console exclusive content, my mind goes all the way back to Soul Calibur 2.
I wrote that down. That's the only thing I wrote down was Soul Calibur 2. Literally, I can show you my screen. I have a notepad open with one line that says Soul Calibur 2.
I'm glad I got to go
Continue.
first. But yeah, I think back to that. And I think as a Nintendo fan, it's really, really cool to see Link in a fighting game like that. Like, to see that exclusive content represent your fandom but it might also suck for other people who don't get to. I mean, I don't think you're gonna play as Link on an Xbox or a PlayStation, a Microsoft or a Sony product, right? Nintendo's just never gonna let that happen, or at least during that time, it would have been incredibly impossible.
I mean,
so
it's still impossible. I mean, bringing up the Super Mario Mashup pack from Minecraft, it is Nintendo exclusive. You can play as Mario and Luigi and Toad and Daisy and Peach and Yoshi and have this whole Mushroom Kingdom world to explore. If and only if you were playing on the Wii U version, the Switch version, or the 3DS version. If you're playing on Xbox or PlayStation, then no. But if you're playing on PC, you're modding the shit into Minecraft anyway. I'm sure you found a way to do it. So it is what it is.
My short take is this, and then I'll let Amir dish on you. The whole idea behind console content exclusive. Wow, this is a real moment I'm having here. Console exclusive content is just that generally the idea, and what makes it feel nefarious is these publishers and hardware manufacturers want to encourage you to think of any game that comes out as their version of the game being the one to buy. And that's where it sucks, you know?
All right, Amir, take us away.
When it comes to console content exclusives, it sucks, like Evan said, if you don't have all the consoles, which I don't. Unfortunately, in my mind, it does go back to Soul Calibur, but it also goes back to Mortal Kombat 4 and Mortal Kombat Gold, where in the Gold version on the Dreamcast, you get access to like it was like Katana, Melina, Cyrax, Kung Lao, Baraka, Sector. You get all these specific characters for one console. That was a lot of characters for one console. I mean, granted, it was like essentially considered another game, but it was still the same game, but just on a different console. And obviously games have been doing this forever, just with like specific content exclusive things. Resident Evil Code Veronica, and you get Code Veronica X on the PS2. It's always been happening, but I feel like it adds a sense of incentive for you to buy that specific thing. And especially if you do have both consoles, and let's say you own a copy of that game on one thing, but they want you to buy the same thing on another thing. Adding that incentive, at least, you know, if you want to play it on that console, at least you're getting something out of it. As far as like the Avengers with Spider-Man, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, we all saw this coming a mile away. I don't have a problem with it personally because, I mean, I have a PS4, so I mean, like, I'm not gonna be affected by this. You know, I'm not gonna be running through the streets screaming at the heavens that I can't play as Spider.
Eat it, nerds.
So I don't know. I mean, it makes sense, and I'm okay with it. However, there are games that I would like to play, and there are things that I would like to have access to. But being that I don't own an Xbox, and I know a lot of people think that we're paid off by Xbox, we're paid off by Sony, we get all these, we're just
this guy
showered
doesn't even
in
have
consoles.
an Xbox.
You guys get paid?
But yeah, I mean, you know, it sucks, but I get it. That's my the central thesis of my statement is it sucks, but I get it.
It sucks, but I get it.
It sucks,
All
but
right.
I get it.
Me now, I get to say something? I hate it. It's awful. It's the worst. Especially in a game like this. The entire purpose of this game is to be able to play online with friends, right? So you're playing online with friends. Console exclusive content means that if there ever is a chance to have things cross-play, hey, look, I'm Spider-Man. Sucks to be you, nerd. I mean, this is like, you don't get to experience this at all. And
Think about that. That means
sucks.
that if it is crossplay and it works like that, and your friend gets to be Spider-Man and you get to see them, that means the assets are on your console. Like, that's not streaming from the
I mean,
cloud.
there you go. Yeah, it's very true. I mean, it's the case of just like you don't know what content is, and that brings up a conversation that you're not having today, which is it on the disc anyway? And that's a whole other problem.
It probably is.
And you know what? The thing is the fact is, it's like, no, it wouldn't be difficult for them to make it available on the Xbox One or on the Xbox Series X. But it's going to be a PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 exclusive. It's going to only be on those consoles. So if you want to be Spidey, you want to thwip around, you want to do all that stuff, you have to play on that platform. Not everybody can afford to have every console. Yes, I mean, Amir, you don't have an Xbox. You know, pour one out for Amir. Everybody's sad. Everybody, you know, it's like a little tear. Do it, King. Do it, King. Yeah.
I like how I'm surprised even though I did it. Like, no, my carpet.
But it makes it so that like that crossplay initiative that everybody really wants to happen, it makes it harder. It puts up another barrier. And it also just like, is another character really that big of a deal? I mean, they did the same thing bringing up Mortal Kombat. They did Mortal Kombat 9. Kratos was an exclusive guest fighter for PlayStation 3 and Vita. Great. It's not a make it or break it thing, but it's like, if I had to, choose it, I'm going to choose the one that feels best to play, which more often than not, it's going to probably be the PC version of it, unless it's locked to, a console exclusive as in general, like saying Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, it's like, I can only play that on that one platform. But if you have the agency and the ability to play it on any console or any platform, then, I mean, one character shouldn't necessarily be enough. And this seems just manipulative. Honestly.
Well, here's what my prediction is. I think it's going to be like a timed exclusive. Because I mean, realistically,
you think Spider-Man's going to be timed exclusive for Sony?
I feel like eventually, Sony, like it might run its course. They're gonna be like, all right, we've milked this property for all it's worth. Little Spidey's chilling in the corner, skin and bones. He's asking for the devs to kill him. I think that eventually. He might come over. I think it'll just be like, like maybe 2 years. 2 years will be like, oh, Spider-Man's coming.
2 years. I mean, with the way that people are talking about a lot of the stuff. I mean, this is like, some people are saying this is like the superhero version of Anthem, which is oof. It's like they're just like, it's a grind, and you're playing online with friends, and there's some story content, but. It's like, this is Marvel's Anthem. It's like, oh no.
Well, the license I think will carry it regardless of how good or bad it is. And if it's even just kind of good, I think it'll carry it far enough. Yeah. I think with Spider-Man, the reason I feel like it's got to be timed is because you can't put all your production resources, unless like Sony has just completely footed the bill for it and made it worth your while. It's a whole production cycle. You've got to build a character model. You got to rig it for animation. It's an incredible amount of scripting and voice acting that goes
rigging,
into
costumes, lighting, everything, textures, everything like that.
And other characters have to react to Spider-Man. So if you do all that work and you're only releasing it to half your fan base, you're not getting as much. And people are like, if they only want to play because of their favorite character, they're losing out on all this money, right?
Yeah, and it's less content too, right? Because I mean, like, when you think of like, as far as like longevity of your game goes, it's going to be less on the other platform, because if you don't have that extra character to play as, you have less stuff to do, which ultimately makes the game like it won't be as fun for as long, if that makes sense. It's like if you I don't know, like Metal Gear Solid 2 on when you I think it was the PS2 version that had the skateboarding, but it's just like an extra mode. It's just a small thing you can do that adds like some level of replayability. I feel like that kind of takes away from that platform, but also adds that incentive, like, hey, if you get in on this, you can play it a little bit longer. Even after you beat it, you can still play it for a little bit longer. You just play as somebody else,
Technically, you're not wrong. But also, Sony's the leading seller of consoles this generation. PlayStation 4 sold like gangbusters. They got money. They own the Spider-Man license for games. They own the Spider-Man license. They took it away from Disney until they sat down and actually until Tom Holland cried into the phone, drunk, to the directors and producers, and be like, please don't take Spider-Man away from me. They had to go back to the drawing board and re-sign a new deal for that. And it's because Sony was just like, Spider-Man is our son. It's just like, okay. It's like, this is our boy. And you're going to have to prove why, it's like, you should even be able to look at my precious son. How dare you insinuate that it's going to be on Xbox? How dare you?
Sitting at the end of the driveway with Spider-Man at their hip. You're not allowed to talk to our son.
I kind of mentioned
Sony has like the child leash, the little harness on Spider-Man. Like, you can only go this far.
I kind of mentioned this in the beginning, but like, I think it most effectively proved to work out for Sony in the case of Destiny, because I feel like during when the new launch for 4 and for Xbox One came out, Destiny felt very much like it was the game to play on PlayStation, right? And very much I think that was the case for
because they had timed exclusive content,
yeah, they had
which
timed
then
exclusive
finally
content.
like lapsed when Destiny 2 launched.
They
It's
made
like,
sure,
hey,
yeah,
you can
that-
finally
that-
play it on Xbox. Destiny 2 came out, just so we're clear.
And they made sure that those Destiny like trailers and showcases, everything was happening on the PlayStation stage, at least first, right? To give the impression that like, oh, that's a PlayStation game. It's not an Xbox game. It's a PlayStation game.
They did the same thing with Destiny 2. There was exclusive guns, exclusive
Yep.
missions. There was, exclusive armor sets for Titan, the Warlock, and the Hunter, and they were pretty cool, and people liked them. They're just like, well, I mean, I was already it convinced me. I originally owned Destiny 1 on Xbox.
Same.
And I played it on that, and I'm just like, I was convinced by a coworker. It's just like, don't worry, we'll play together. We'll play together on Destiny, get it on the PS4. I did. Then it came to PC, and then everybody jumped ship to PC immediately. So it's like, it really does play to the, it's like, this is the greater scheme of things is splitting your player base amongst all that stuff and why crossplay is such an important thing. But is a mission in some armor really that important? It's really not. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a small mission. It's a ship. It's a gun. And, in the end, it will probably come to everything. But, like, this is not, I mean, Spider-Man's not going to come to Xbox.
Yeah,
I do not think so.
Oh, you didn't think so? I mean, this would be the equivalent of like a character class in Destiny, right? Like a just complete character class missing. Because Spider-Man's going to play different. He's going to move different. All of that stuff. So yeah, it does kind of suck. It sucks for anyone who is not going to have the ability to play their favorite superhero. And that's kind of what it's about at the end of the day, especially if you're like big corporate overlord trying to be like, our games are for everyone. And we're going to make this the best place to play. But it's like for Square Enix or, Crystal Dynamics, they probably just want their game to be played by as many people as possible, and they want to make a profit. So that's how these things come about, right? Like Sony probably get them a fat check. Hey, we're going to do Spider-Man. Here's the money to do it.
I mean, they might
count for your
also really be testing the waters and seeing if they could play on people's FOMO. Like, just be like, yo, if you're, because you got to think there are a lot of people that are diehard Marvel fans, like to the point where it's like almost a cult. So I think maybe they might be playing into that. Just like, hey, you want Spider-Man? You got to get a PS4, man. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. So like, people will be like, well, I need to play as Spider-Man. If I don't get to play as Spider-Man, like, what am I going to do? Like, why do I even need this? So I think it's a safe bet for such a big property like that. I don't know. It's. I feel like it's as big as like Star Wars, where like people will do anything to partake in some Star Wars thing. I don't know Star Wars terminology, but they are playing into the cult-like fandom of Marvel and saying, if you want to play Spider-Man, if you want to give old Petey Parker a nice smooch on the cheek, you gotta get a PS4.
Okay, so specifically bringing up those instances again, Mortal Kombat 9 on the PlayStation 3 and Vita had Kratos. Is Kratos enough of a pull to like pull you from your Xbox 360?
No,
Kratos isn't big enough.
Not at all.
Okay, how about
he's just a video game character?
How about
just some dude?
Fight Night Round 2 on the GameCube? You can play as Little Mac. Is Little Mac enough of a pull for you?
No.
I mean, for a boxing game, yeah, sure.
I mean, if you're really into the Punch-Out series, you gotta be really into it, like really into it.
I mean, again, and not to like play favorites here. It's just like, it's not like Nintendo hasn't done this either. And fairly recently too, they did Starlink Battle for Atlas, which was a multi-platform release. You want to play Star Fox though? They made toys for the darn thing. They made the R-Wings as a physical toy. They made the R-Wings as a physical toy, which means that just like, and Nintendo's footing the bill for this. So it's not unusual for a big company to just be like, we're pulling rank and say, it's like, we want this for us. Not that it really helped Starlink keep itself out of the bargain bin. And again, bringing it on to the Marvel's Avengers, it's like, if it can't capture the player base, then it will end up in a bargain bin. And just like Anthem, just like Starlink, will constantly happen. And it's outside of this realm of like, console exclusive content. But you know, it's like, will PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 see significant boost of numbers because of Spider-Man? You know, it's like, where is your line? Where do you draw the line at like being acceptable? You guys both seem fairly okay with the fact that good old Peter Parker, and you both seem fairly certain that he's going to come to Xbox and PC at some point. I completely don't think so. I don't think so. Especially with how
I'm talking like
Sony
way
is so
in the future.
tight-fisted.
That is true.
Maybe
That
like
is true.
6 months or a year. I don't know, but I
thinking
can
like
see where Caden's coming from.
farther than that.
This
Like
is
once
also-
once the game is like on sale, like once
it'll
it's
be
like
dead by then.
in the bargain bin, that's when like, hey, we don't know what else to do with this. Please just buy what we have left.
If we're calling this Marvel's Anthem, then like a week after launch, it's gonna be on sale in the bargain bin.
Yeah.
But I mean, sorry, Anthem. It's like sorry, not sorry, Anthem. But like, there's no way. Sony's so like, I mean, if they've been consistently so tight-fisted with, you know, crossplay not being a thing. We're not gonna do it. Absolutely not. It's like, it's a much more difficult thing, and then you have the Rocket League devs being just like, we flipped a switch, and it
Yeah.
just worked. And
Yeah.
without your permission, we flipped the switch, and it worked. So, you know, it's not as complicated as you think, but it really just does cement everything of just Sony being just like, we want people to understand that Sony PlayStation is the only place to be for gaming. And they do that,
You're
know,
gonna buy
by
fucking
being
PlayStation.
They do that by doing things like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and it seems a little bit like they don't need to. They don't
Yeah.
need to do that.
They don't
already
need to.
have like you know, they have almost a monopoly on things as far as like the console market, as far as things are concerned, save for Nintendo. But Nintendo they're over there. They're doing Nintendo
Doing their
stuff.
own. Yeah, they're
hanging
kind of just
out.
floating in the water with their life vest. It's like,
Miyamoto's out there
we are
delisting
content.
Pikmin 3 from the Wii U eShop, being just like $60 again for Switch version, please. They're doing their own stuff over there, but I mean,
Yeah.
is this an underhanded tactic that they don't need to use?
I think it's a little outdated, honestly. I think that characters and like features are a little too far. I think it's cool if you can get like cosmetic stuff, like if you could get Kratos armor for Iron Man or something like that. I think that's a really cool nod to the fandom and something that like Xbox fans could do without. But I think like if it feels like it should be in the game and it's not there, I think that's, you're kind of like treating half of your fan base poorly, you know?
I 100% agree with that, Evan. You're absolutely right. I think was it Rockstar, like GTA 5, Red Dead 2, you know, when they launched, like both the original, like GTA 5, both the original PS3 and then 360, and then when it went over to PS4 and the Xbox One, PS4 had like you can get extra money for online mode. Like it was a bunch of stuff, and then for Red Dead 2, you get like a new horse, some like cool ass guns, like extra money for in game. I think for online as well. So like that stuff is totally cool because like I can play this game without it. I can get everything out of this game without that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're right there. It's like taking that whole character away is kind of disrespecting half the fan base.
So, you know, that's great and all, but ultimately, like most of these discussions, it kind of just ends up being in the hands of the players, you know, all the gamers out there. So we're throwing this one out to you, comments. Does this really matter to you? Is this a big deal for you? Are you an Xbox owner who is really upset the fact that you'll never be able to play as Spider-Man in Marvel's Avengers because it's locked on a PlayStation? And then does it make you want to buy a PlayStation, or does it make you just angry about it? What are your feelings about Sony keeping Spider-Man locked to the PlayStation console, even in games that they don't develop? We really want to know what you think about console exclusive content, so leave that down in the comment section below. And thanks for watching Inside Gaming, everybody.
We're gathered here today to discuss a mainstay in modern gaming, a medium that's seen higher highs, lower lows, and more awkward stage appearances than a middle school production of Equus. We're talking press conferences. And now that Xbox's July Games event is solidly in the rearview, we can pit the two biggest players in the space against one another the only way we know